fast, though, that like if Xin Zhao wants to go for a 3-camp gank, Udyr can just do 4 camps and then just show up and stand at the tower, right? And just say, nope, can't do it.
Sorry, dude.
Go back to farming. I'm 1 camp up. So you really can kind of dissuade action. The other thing that Udyr is great at doing is actually soloing out the dragon. And we know that Lucian Nami bot lane, really powerful duo down there. So they could look to try to create advantages in that way. It is going to be Viktor. It is going to be a blind Gnar. We'll see if Philip has anything he can really kind of throw down here. Because Philip is the big question mark for me in this one. Like Stixxay, we've seen a lot in the LCS. Philip is a 19-year-old guy. He's new.
the new element.
Yep, and I got to talk to FlyQuest, talk to them a bit about him. They are really a believer in like his work ethic, his attitude, and they think he fits the culture that they're trying to build really, really well for FlyQuest. But the question mark is, can he perform at the LCS level as far as like individual skills, right? Is he there yet?
He must pass that test.
And Licorice, I would say there's kind of like these different tiers in the LCS. There's kind of like actual elite guys. And I think Licorice is kind of like that bar that you have to get above if you want to get into the some days and the last of the summits and stuff like that. Because Licorice can compete with those guys. He's just not as consistent as them, but he's above a lot of the rest of the league.
When we remember Licorice's peaks on Cloud9, there were so many conversations around, is this dude
in the lanes, in the 1v1, so really have those advantages exploited even more. So, if he makes mistakes early game, Licorice is one of those guys that can really punish him. So Philip's going to have to be on his game. And also, the team has to play towards him. Because Camille, yes, Camille is like a counter, so to speak, but it's much more about how you're enabling your teammates to kill the Gnar, to be honest. Like, once he gets in a mini, you call up your jungler, you ult him, he's locked in, you kill him in mini Gnar. That's more what it's about. It's rare that you just see like the straight up domination in the 1v1.
So, couple things I want to go ahead and mention here. Double exhaust on the side of the Golden Guardians being wielded by both of the bottom laners here. If we look at the other side, it is a grasp Camille for Philip, so more laning focused as opposed to having some of the scaling power. Comment on toucouille shows us that this is more laning power for the Azir there as well compared to something like a lethal tempo. Speaking of lethal tempo, Udyr can get a lot of value out of that with the constant attacks on Phoenix. And of course, Ghost. Yes, you can't get Flash Bear Slap, but being able to run so quickly and stick on top of those targets gives him a lot of value.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is going to make it more dangerous in those jungle 1v1s. If Udyr can get to the point where he's winning out in that 1v1 against Pridestalker,
just walk into his jungle.
Be so careful, exactly, because you can get chased down by the Ghost, by the Bear Stance. Does have that exceptionally fast clear. It does not need a leash whatsoever.
And lethal tempo means unless he one-shots you, you're going to win in the extended fight no matter what. On top of already having a better champion for extended fights. So keep your eyes on these junglers. We'll see how they go about doing this. I like the thing that you brought up about, yes, Pridestalker's champion pool, his most iconic champions where we saw him playing those assassins. That's not on the table so much anymore. But just the style in general may lend itself for what he wants to do in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be really, really interesting. We'll see how they're going to be able to scrap in this lane. Olleh already taking the really bad end of that trade. You've got to be very careful. The amount of burst here from the Electrocute Nami plus PTA proc there with Johnsun on that Lucian is really, really scary. But they're fighting heavily for this level 2. They're going to lose the level 2, though, so they will have to back it up here.
All right, Stixxay trying to get on out of there, but Johnsun empowered by that Aphromoo buff. Lucian getting the extra damage on top of what would even normally be granted means you do not want to mess with these guys in that 2v2. Back over here in mid, toucouille has taken control over the mid lane wave and is looking to get this shoved in.
Yep.
Licorice, okay. Trades into Philip here, but Philip doing a good job there using the adaptive shielding to block some of the damage from Licorice's trade and return some of his own. Licorice hitting level 3 first, but Philip's not really afraid of it. He knows he's about to turn back into the mini Gnar here. Philip, of course, losing out a little bit early on farm, as you're almost always going to do as a melee champion into a Gnar. You just let that wave crash in and farm it all up.
Exactly. That's really the kind of benchmark that you kind of check in on is after the wave has all died to the tower, you see how much did you get, right?
Yeah,
like
then
that's
where
the real CS advantage. It's not really that big of a deal before that. Jose, of course, already 6 camp clear here, heading down towards that bottom side. He just clears it out so damn fast on the Udyr. Spots that with the vision plant, so will come through, and they're just trying to threaten the dive, just push them off. It's level 3 to level 2. toucouille's moving from mid, and Jose's level 4. Not only did he use 6 camps, he did 6 camps, now he comes down and farms the enemy Krugs. So yes, Pridestalker did actually grab the top side scuttle, but Jose's going to be able to get most, if not all of this camp, then got his own scuttle on bottom side. So going to be sitting in a really good position because they're denying a lot of this farm away from the Zeri. And this is just great pathing and use of that speed clear that he does have, because I mean, yes, you're going to still get 3 or 4 of these minions, but this is about a 10 CS advantage just based largely off of the early trading, but then Jose creating that extra space.
Yeah, Pridestalker's got no chance here in this 1v1. Luckily, JoseDeodo backing away because he doesn't have full knowledge, but with our perfect spectator vision, we know that Pridestalker was not in any sort of condition to be able to win out in that 1v1 there.
Yep, and Jose, I think, is giving some respect as well because he hadn't based a buy yet, so he wants to pay some respect to the fact that, hey, there's a longsword, there's a ruby crystal, yes, I'm up a level, but you got to wonder, if AblazeOlive is going to be able to make that move first. Looks like the wave will stack and push out towards toucouille, but he's going to TP back. A couple early game items bought up there, just grab the boots, grab the Doran's ring, just looking to maintain his position in this lane, try to catch up and farm as the wave pushes towards him.
Yeah, and looking at the game overall, I mean, it's dead even. Right? 5 minutes in, nobody's getting any huge advantages thus far. Licorice about to crash yet another wave into the turret after Philip picks up what I would assume is most of this. Licorice going to go back, get his first base now as well, so won't even bother harassing underneath the turret there. So Philip will be down slightly, not a ton. Air Drake, first of all, here in this game, as Stixxay takes a chunk of damage again. They're just walking up fighting Lucian Nami, and Lucian Nami says, what?
Yeah, I mean, Aphro was moving from lane, so I think they were trying to go up, posture a little bit more aggressively. But, they are playing double exhaust, which is going to have a lot of value later on. But having that double exhaust is not as useful right now. And we see Jose, they have that bot side pressure. You can solo this up easy peasy.
Oh, yeah.
And going to be able to take that first dragon of the game. The Zeri W does do a lot of damage, if you can actually connect with that, so it's a good bit of chunk onto Johnsun, but they've got to be so careful because Ignite is available for Aphro, so if Stixxay goes too far forward, and you do get caught by that Ignite, plus the full combo with the Electro proc, you're in range of dying.
Interesting that both of the first Drakes here in the couple of games that we've seen today taken almost at the same time. This one was about 5-10 seconds faster than what we saw Blabber 2 in game number 1, but Jungler's confident to solo these out. And again, I think that can be looked at as a symptom of just the general state of things. You don't have to worry about lanes being in these power dive situations. Everybody's killing each other. No. Oh, Azir's going to come get me with his crappy soldier. What am I going to do? It's just sort of easier to get this done as topside Licorice getting things done. Taking Philip down to half HP there. Gnar, one of those champions that it feels like, hey, whenever you've got the ulti available and you turn into Mega Gnar, just use it to trade.
Yep, absolutely. Especially in these earlier stages. Like later on, maybe want to save it for a fight around Dragon or whatever. Yeah. But especially in these early stages, allows him to have a little bit of a move timer there. Trying to go out and harass Jose at this scuttle, but it's no smite available for Jose, so he does have to actually pay some respect to it. Philip is moving down, so that will secure it for him.
Ooh. Oh. Another big burst of damage there onto Stixxay. It is just so hard to breathe against Lucian Nami as something that isn't also very powerful in lane. And you talked about how incredible Yuumi's scaling is. She's not known for her laning.
No, not at all. Especially not into a matchup like this where they can close the gap, where they can really punish you. They're going to try to hard shove this wave. There was another base there from Stixxay. Just because he has to. I mean, he's chunked down so low, you've got to pay respect to the fact that they could even just double flash on you, drop the Ignite, and you would probably be dead. They're going to grab a second turret play here, though, already. 7 minutes in. It's a significant lead in that bot lane for Johnsun.
Yeah,
500 plus already in his favor.
Yeah, that's going to feel really good for FlyQuest down here, but of course Golden Guardians has some catching up to do. At least these minions, they'll catch a ton of those, so Stixxay can farm up what I would hope would be most of this, but the tower is stealing away a few of them there. Back up in top side, Phillips 57 versus 61 farm on Licorice. Yeah, I'd call that successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a couple extra minions for him to farm too, so it's basically dead even. We'll see. With Jose in the area, there is always that threat. Licorice does not have the Mega Bar stacked up. So there is the danger of getting ulted in and getting taken down, and that's, I think, what is kind of evening this out for him. Philip keeps stepping forward, threatening, hey, jungler could be here. I could be looking for the all-in.
What if I ult you?
Steps back and does give up some minions every time he is looking to do that. As mid lane, just farming it back and forth, going to be looking pretty even. Jose has been able to get a decent little advantage. He just farms faster than the Xin, taking the extra scuttle, taking the early dragon, now looking to try to grab himself the first herald potentially.
Oh, but the culling is coming down and Stixxay jumps over the wall to get away from that one. Olleh using the exhaust. So that's one of those two down on the side of the Golden Guardians. As it looks like Pridestalker's clearing out the blue while Jose is going after the Herald. However, Licorice's rotation means that JoseDeodo does get challenged here. toucouille rotating over now too, but AblazeOlive is here. We could have a full-on 3v3. toucouille getting out of the gravity well, The Rift Herald is running out of patience.
That's going to reset.
Yep. All right, they're not going to be able to secure that just yet. Licorice landing one empowered Gnar Q there onto toucouille as he tries to leave, but the Golden Guardians are going to re-aggro this objective. They're sticking around here. JoseDeodo walks forward and sees it. AblazeOlive, recognizing FlyQuest's awareness, steps back towards the objective to try to protect it as well. Eyeball exposed, Rift Herald at 3K. Patience running down. Shelly, they are just messing with you today, aren't they?
Yeah, and every time Philip is getting pulled away from that little push and wave, he is losing minions.
And you saw there right at the end, JoseDeodo dropping the smite on the Rift Herald, even after it had already lost its patience. I think he just wanted to evolve the smite. That was the last one left. Smite. He wants to have the red smite to be able to use it in PvP, because it looks like FlyQuest and Golden Guardians are going to get into it here in this upper river.
Yeah, looks like they're going to get it, though. You know, they did have push. They finally get back onto it. They should have enough time to actually finish this off. They're coming in and try to check, but it is too little too late. We'll see if they can get a kill here. Licorice does have Mega, but not going to be able to happen. The Ghost is enough to get him out there.
I know there's a lot of young players in the LCS these days, but I feel like everybody who plays League of Legends has to have seen a Trick 2G video at some point in their life. You just don't chase this champion. He's one level below Singed, just about one. But hey, overall, we do have almost a 1,000 gold lead here for the side of FlyQuest. Of course, most of that is in the bottom lane. The Lucian Nami laning advantage. You like seeing Johnsun and Aphromoo being able to find those leads for themselves. Mid stays relatively even. Of course, top is going to skew slightly towards Gnar, but that's to be expected too.
Yep, but so far so good for FlyQuest. You know, they have to be really, really happy, I think, about their start in this game. Second Dragon's spawning up. You can see Zeri and Yuumi are just completely zoned away still. So Lucian Nami going to be in the advantage on this bottom side. Should be able to push this in, grab their third plate. They have Herald, so that could be just a dead turret bot if they want to use it. But I think they will just be starting up the Dragon here after Jose grabs the blue buff. For toucouille, it looks like he's going to move over and grab that. So just continue stacking the neutral objectives. This will be 3 for 3 if they can get it. And this is not so much the kind of the back and forth trading that we saw in that previous game between Cloud9 and EG. It is more FlyQuest just kind of getting everything they want thus far.
And not a kill-heavy game either. Still 0-0 at 11 minutes. Durability patch has not just pumped the brakes here on early game aggro, it has slammed them through the floor of the car.
And I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, I do think the changes were great for solo queue and for average play. Yeah. But for pro play, it feels to me like we need a buff on early game champions, right? Like there needs to be some sort of a pivot back towards early action. That early action needs to be incentivized somewhat because these types of games, you know, do really kind of slow down the interaction. And I think a lot of the interaction is what's most interesting about pro play, when they're fighting, when they're trading heavily, when they're trying to create these advantages.
All right, hear me out, all right? What if you hit 10 minutes and then it just does a fire circle from Nexus Blitz?
Yeah, I'm down.
It just says 30 seconds, get to mid lane or you die. And then everybody's just got to play it out.
I'm for it.
You know what?
Hit him with the ARAM. Let's go.
Yeah. Give us the good old in ARAM. Give us a 5v5 team fight at 10 minutes. If you're not willing to trade in lane, people will be willing to trade just to avoid this. It'll be perfect. I'll sign that petition. I'll sign it twice.
All right, let's get it done.
We've got FlyQuest looking for maybe something here. You can see toucouille rotating down. Aphromoo is also hanging out in the jungle, setting up some vision. A little bit of vision being placed down by the other side as well, as Golden Guardians are trying to make sure FlyQuest doesn't just keep taking over the game. They're already over the 1,000 gold lead. Johnsun's coming in with the calling. AblazeOlive flashes away, but he's killed off. And it's first blood for the man with the guns. Johnsun gets it done.
Nicely done. Utilizing that early Gale Force completion to really punish AblazeOlive, moving out from lane to get some vision. And Aphro and Johnsun are just moving up and are able to punish that rotation very, very heavily. They're going to drop the Herald mid here for toucouille, get him some more of that gold, continue to chip away here. They will take 3 plates off mid. They've already got 3 plates bought. They get the first blood. They've gotten all 3 objectives. FlyQuest are cruising in this game. And Golden Guardians are going to need to find their moment here to try to turn things around a little bit. I mean, they have a slight advantage up in top. Mid is about even. But that's really all they have going for them. And it's going to come down to probably this next dragon. I don't think they can afford to just give 3 straight dragons over to FlyQuest. But the question is, are you really ready to fight?
Sunfire Aegis completed just now for JoseDeodo as well, so Udyr's feeling incredibly powerful in the skirmishes. Let's take another look at how AblazeOlive got caught. FlyQuest saw, hey, he's right there, he's clearing a ward, just collapse. Johnsun goes in, Aphro empowers him, and, well...
Yeah, not much of a way out whatsoever. toucouille, behind him on the sweep. There's no way he's going to get out of that. Just trying to clear some vision. But FlyQuest, they have bought Cryo, and that has been the key difference here. The Udyr speed clear, but also bot has always had the shove, has always been winning the trades, and that is creating these windows where they can move out of lane, play for vision, enable Jose to go for Dragon, do all these little extra things that Golden Guardians have not had the opportunity to do because they've just been losing bot the whole time.
JoseDeodo went to the sporting goods store and picked up a tent and some marshmallows. He's just camping out here in this brush. He'll finally walk away from it. So AblazeOlive, of course, saw him enter into that brush, even though it was swept by JoseDeodo. He saw there were no wards in there. The control ward in the nearby pixel brush did get a glimpse of him, so AblazeOlive knew to play safe. JoseDeodo now leaving means AblazeOlive can breathe a little bit more safely as Johnsun and Aphromoo are the ones underneath their turret. Pridestalker down here walking over top of a ward. FlyQuest is aware of his presence, but now they're the ones bringing some backup. JoseDeodo leading the charge here, going after the Golden Guardians jungler as Johnsun and Aphromoo are ready to go. Pridestalker's got that ulti, but is it gonna work? Flashing away to stay alive. Culling coming out, but it only finds Stixxay, who body blocks for his own jungler. FlyQuest have not found a kill just yet, but toucouille's going in. AblazeOlive, remember, no flash still from the previous play, but he still gets himself out. Aphro and Johnsun taking some damage here as Stixxay zones them away, seeing the low mana bar on the Lucian. Yeah,
they've been out of the map for a long time there, so Johnsun gonna have to go back to base. They will lose a little bit of farm. Can help to even things up there somewhat. But still, forcing the flash, forcing the ulti off of Pridestalker is going to mean things are going to be much more difficult for them coming up to this dragon fight here in 55 seconds. Olleh,
this one's
trying to convert that sight zone if he can prior to that happening. Trying to farm as much gold as he can.
Oh, Phillips.
Too close to the tower.
Yeah, he goes in, he gives him the Hex Tech ultimatum, but when it's that close to the turret, he can't stick around long enough. Licorice will just hang back at the very edge of it and throw boomerangs at him the entire time. So despite having the jungler presence, it doesn't work out the way FlyQuest wants it to. So now they got to back away. Phillips going to reset. 30 seconds here on the Drake. FlyQuest gets soul point nice and early. You're not going to see the same level of just wait till 45 minutes to have a fight that we got in the last game. The pressure will be on the Golden Guardian.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jose's just getting up there trying to get Phillips to reset. Would have liked to see Phillips just hold on to the ult, though. It's kind of a low percentage play to actually get the kill. And Dragon is going to be here, and very likely we may see a fight over at Golden Guardians, though, for now, up towards this Herald. So may just give up Soul Point for free and look to fight right on Soul. But this is really not a high-value Herald. Yes, you're going to be able to get a bit of chip damage down on a tower, but they don't have any tower low, so it's not going to be anything in execute range. And giving this over means one missed flight, one pick, one steal is going to be Soul for FlyQuest, who's already way out ahead, and the Mountain Soul is going to make the potential of the comebacks that much more difficult.
Oh, toucouille outplaying Pridestalker there by standing still. Pridestalker, when becomes lightning forward, thinking, okay, maybe if he tries to get back, it's like, no, I'm just going to stand here, keep attacking the turret. That turret has 27 HP out of 5,000. That is not a whole lot. Somebody just randomly breathes on that one. It is dead.
That is the juke that me and my friends like to call outdumbing him, where you just don't move.
Yeah. No, exactly.
They're trying to be big brain, like, he's going to dodge left. I'm like, I'm bad. I'm not going to move.
Yeah, exactly. You are overestimating my capabilities as a player. That is what it comes down to sometimes in League of Legends. But up here in the top side, Johnsun is happy to keep on farming. Down in bottom, you can see Licorice. We've switched things around, Mr. Azael. It's that time of the game. The top laners head towards the bottom half of the map. Licorice getting most of the health down from this turret. Philip goes in, but he does not find the stun there from the hook shot. Still gets the Q damage to take a chunk out of Licorice's health. Divine Sunder, of course, very nice in those snap trades.
Yeah, absolutely. We can see there's a lot of vision down here for him as well. We have a ward over here. We got a couple of wards over there. We got a ward in the side. These wards over by mid. So he has pretty good coverage to actually keep him safe if he were to push up. Of course, he knows Zeri's in the area, so he is going to play respectfully. Zeri can fly in over those walls. You've got to pay some attention to where they could be coming from, and they're going to look for a play now.
Oh, Philip just getting jumped on by Stixxay and Olleh. They dropped the exhaust from the Yuumi. Now, Philip has to run away from that one. However, he doesn't have to spend anything, right? He never had to use teleport. He never had to use flash. There's nothing wrong going on here. So they will, however, buy themselves enough time to get that tier 1 turret, like you're saying. Gold lead is still 2,000 for FlyQuest.
Yep, absolutely. And it is traded over on the other side, and Johnsun is farming just way more effectively than Stixxay. Stixxay has been struggling in this lane with Olleh. They have been getting bullied by the Lucian Nami. The item advantages are there. And it's going to get that much scarier if they can get to those 2 item completion points. And if Johnsun could actually finish Essence Reaver, and he does, before that next fight, Zeri's so far away, right? Like, Zeri is going to be way down in gold. So you are going to be in that tough spot where not only is the gold lead significant, the gold lead is going to be, revealing itself in an entire item.
Yeah, the gold lead of Johnsun versus Stixxay is greater than the overall gold lead of the teams.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty insurmountable at this point. Johnson's ability to just take over a fight cannot be understated. Pridestalker now getting jumped on, throws toucouille back. toucouille now having to flash away defensively. Nice turnaround there from Golden Guardians. FlyQuest's mid laner incredibly low on HP, down to about 200. FlyQuest make the move, but Golden Guardians have the answer.
Yeah, it is the trade of flashes and ultis there between toucouille and Pridestalker. I think you're going to be pretty happy about that on the Golden Guardian side, to be honest, because Azir is going to be much more vulnerable. But they're trying to grip up mid, see if they can get this tower. Should be able to do it, chunking it down very low. And the Viktor laser plus that W there from Stixxay actually chunking out FlyQuest very, very heavily.
And here comes another Herald charge. It does at least succeed into crashing into the turret before it's immediately taken out, so some good damage there. We've got 1 minute and 47 seconds until our next Drake spawns. That is the one that Golden Guardians must be prepared for. Pridestalker will not have a flash available to try to steal that one away. That's something that's very important too.
It absolutely is, and I think they're going to have to try to get some sort of a deep vision, look for a flanking play from Licorice. If you can have him coming from behind a lot of this team, there's definitely the possibility of making something happen. But Johnsun is playing Cleanse, be it for an Exhaust or a Gnar combo. It is going to be pretty effective. And I think that's potentially, maybe they were expecting that, so maybe that's why they're playing double Exhaust instead of a heal on the Yuumi. Exhaust gets Cleanse, Exhaust again. Not really sure. It's going to be effective on the Camille as well, of course, as a Blaze.
Ooh.
Almost face checks there, but has the read that Jose could be in the area, and it's going to buy time for toucouille to just push this out. Going to be able to look to reset a minute before this dragon here. It's time to start controlling vision, time to get your pinks, get over to that pit, and really start to clear out as much as you can. There is the Scuttle Crab for Golden Guardian, so they'll at least have some access to that area. And they are going to try to move in now and see what they can take over.
Yeah, I always like seeing teams come to these objectives as early as possible without giving your opponents a chance to then come in and sweep it all out themselves before the thing spawns. Usually around this 50 seconds to 60 seconds mark is what I think most teams settle on being the ideal time. And it's Golden Guardians who are now trying to answer that. It's Golden Guardians with control over the bottom side river. FlyQuest shoving out the mid lane. We've got 17 seconds until this Drake spawns. It's Golden Guardians, control over the river. FlyQuest grouped up as 5 here as well. Licorice loses half HP to Johnsun, who comes in with a calling. Takes him down to a quarter. Licorice is in trouble. That's your engage on the side of the Golden Guardians, and FlyQuest knows it.
And he Mega'd out, so that's actually a big deal. If FlyQuest can just wait this out, they see him now in Mega. You don't have to rush this, just wait till Megadar expires, and it's almost an unlosable fight for them. So yeah, exactly what they're gonna do. They're just backing it up. Not only is Licorice gonna be damaged now, he doesn't have the access to the ultimate for quite a lot of time, so now FlyQuest can look to try to play for this. A lot of it's going to be up to AblazeOlive, try to zone them out. He's poking them with the lasers.
Licorice was healed up pretty well there by Olleh on the Yuumi. However, remember, this means Olleh's mana is incredibly taxed. Yuumi is not going to have a lot to work with here in this fight. Philip goes in, and he finds the ulti onto the enemy mid laner who's already been killed. Johnsun barely getting himself away. He's going to stay alive. Fires off that Fire's Bloom, but dies to AblazeOlive. It'll be a 1-for-1 trade, carry for carry. FlyQuest still onto the Drake. No flash available for Pridestalker. Licorice is down. Soul over to FlyQuest. More kills over to FlyQuest. Pridestalker is gone, and Zeri don't got no money. Stixxay's trying to get away, but JoseDeodo gives him the slap, and Philip is ready for the follow-up. Jose keeps on tanking, and FlyQuest keeps on spanking the Golden Guardian.
Run, stun, job is done. Jose chasing him down under the tier 2 tower there. But what an engage from Philip, the confidence there to go in so aggressively. Not showing any fear whatsoever, and FlyQuest now 4K gold advantage. They get the Bud Light Ace. We can watch this one more time. Philip sees the angle. They know he's in mini Gnar. They know they have the soldiers set up here to try to look for some sort of a play. Preps the Q. E-flash right into AblazeOlive. They push him back. They burst him down. Johnsun, though, taking a lot of damage on the other side of that fight, does get pushed out. but it's toucouille who is untouched throughout this. Aphro buffing him up. They turn back towards the dragon, which does reset a little bit, but as they secure it, toucouille and Aphro moving in, taking down member after member, and Jose and Philip are on the chase, and now back to live. They are on Baron.
Alrighty, the tempo is picking up here in the mid game. Baron at half HP, but FlyQuest backing off. Johnsun at only half HP himself means they don't want to overcommit to something, throw away this lead they've got. Mountain Soul feels awesome at this point in time.
Yeah. I mean, you're 4K up. It's another 4K or so in stats to have that soul. And then you're playing from so far ahead where it's like, generally, if you're losing, you're thinking about trying to burst someone down, get a pick. That is much more difficult to do against that Mountain Soul. So it is going to be a really, really tough job here for Golden Guardians, who, you know, they got way behind through laning. In that bot lane, they gave up all the dragons. They did not want to contest until Soul, and then they lost that fight. So now their options are very limited in this game. And with the Azir, you've got to respect the ability for them to rush down this Baron very, very quick. So every time they're clearing out vision, they're going to be able to just turn off the lights, threaten that they're on it, and now it looks like Golden Guardians are just going to give up the Baron. So to me, this feels a little bit like conceding.
There's a lot of here, take that, here, take this, here, take that, here, take this from the Golden Guardians this game. And I understand not wanting to risk what you think is a lost fight, but we start having to ask questions about, well, what is the more winning play, right? Because they've given away so many Drakes, they've given away a Baron. This is tough.
Yeah, it's really hard to think, how are they going to win this game from this point, right? It becomes very, very difficult. You don't really have the advantage in the side lane at all. Sure, there's a little bit of a farm advantage there. Stixxay is way behind. Yuumi scales very well, but I just don't think it matters when you're effectively 10k gold down with the Soul. You also add in the Baron buff, which is a lot of value there too. FlyQuest can push very aggressively, take over the enemy jungle, and try to really get a lot of work done here with this buff, clear up the last of those outer tier 2s.
So one thing I want to bring up here, because it's interesting, Licorice's inventory, second item, fully completed Chempunk Chainsword. Shoutouts to one of the only other Skarner players in North America, Badid. He was tweeting about this the other day. This item is insanely cost efficient. It is one of the best items you can buy for cost efficiency. 125% gold efficient, 25 ability haste, 55 attack damage, 250 health. Although it seems like a just, oh hey, get this for grievous wounds, this item by itself, I expect to see more players building this to completion earlier because of how effective it is.
I mean, they nerfed grievous wounds, but then they just buffed the efficiency of a lot of the items. They added AD to them, they added CDR, whatever, but they just added stats kind of as a makeup, which just makes the healing reduction items more just kind of generically strong. You don't necessarily need to have them.
Just a good item now.
Exactly. You don't need to just, oh, they have a Soraka, okay, you can buy it. As you say, it's just very, very cost efficient at this point. And so it is a pretty smart buy. There is, of course, you know, a fair bit of healing with Ravenous in that 1v1. If you're trying to keep him chipped down, try to look for some sort of a play.
Divine Sunderer too, being able to heal you off the proc. So there is some value in the Grievous. It's just not the main reason for getting the thing anymore. It's just a good item. So I wanted to take the chance. That's one of the few smart things I'll be able to say this whole split is calling out how good this item is now. So I really wanted to get in there as FlyQuest is pushing the bottom lane and pushing towards the tier 3 turret. The advantage they have in the game already is massive. 8.8 thousand gold in 27 minutes. And mid is going to drop even faster. toucouille's able to take care of that, no problem. JoseDeodo rotating over mid just to make sure his solo laner is not in too much trouble. Johnsun and Aphromoo going to keep the pressure up here in the bottom lane now too. Philip right beside him, just in case Licorice tries to go for some sort of an engage. Mid lane, the inhibitor is done. Bottom lane's where the attention's going to be now. Baron still alive for the next 30 seconds or so. FlyQuest is going to get one more wave to try to use this.
They're going to get top as well. There's no one is answering toucouille. Everyone from Golden Guardians is just kind of sitting on the other side, hoping that there's some sort of mistake, but like, they don't even have any engage, right? So you can't really punish, and if you're going to ignore toucouille, he is going to get that job done on the tower, and now too many people have gone towards top. There's 3 tops showing, so bot side is going to be collapsed on by Philip here, and they can threaten the dive.
JoseDeodo's already going in, and AblazeOlive's already going down. Licorice trapped in the Hextech ultimatum. The turrets just evaporate everywhere. Johnson's taken down to 150 HP, but he stays alive. Pridestalker goes in. Licorice gets taken out. Aphromoo still keeping the attention of the enemy jungler. There's only one man left alive, but how long's he staying living? He'll try to take Jose with him. Doesn't quite get it. Udyr with the heal. Triple kill over to the mid laner. The ace for FlyQuest, and they will wrap this one up nicely.
It's a stomp. FlyQuest closing out in 28 minutes in this much slower meta. Full control, start to finish. The 2v2 advantage was enormous and allowed Jose to get what he wanted to get done on the map. Done very easily, controlling all the early objectives. Really just ran this game start to finish, and Golden Guardians never really looked like they had a way in.
I'm going to say it like it is. Golden Guardians didn't look good at all.
No.
Like, I never saw them look like they had a plan. They gave up so much, so often. Just even at the end, when you're talking about managing, where is everybody going to go? How are we going to stop these pushes? I'm just walking